Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from June the 15th of 1991. This is the Thanksgiving episode, which means at the very end of this show, instead of the outro music, you're going to get the annual tradition like no other, which is how to get through the holiday meal blessing at Thanksgiving. And per the usual, BTT style holiday meal blessing. It's the annual clip that we play every single year. And per the usual, we always drop the Thanksgiving show a day early on Thanksgiving Eve. So if you're wondering why you're listening to this show at 7 p.m. on Wednesday night instead of Thursday, that is why. It gets dropped on Wednesday so you can listen to the holiday meal blessing BTT style, and so that you can follow our directions on what we want you to do at your family's Thanksgiving meal. Now, Doc, on that note, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I just want to say welcome everybody to the most punctual two-man booth in all of booths. The most time-conscious two-man booth in the history of recorded everything. I'm doing well. I gotta say I'm blessed and happy Thanksgiving, gobble gobble motherfuckers out there to everybody. I'm expecting the Cowboys to win this year on Thanksgiving, which always improves the day for me. By the time that the people get this, we will have beat the Packers in Green Bay, which will be tasty as all hell. I can't wait for that game. But I'm gonna probably miss the game, son. I'm probably not gonna get to see it. And so, you and I have some youth sports stuff coming up. As we speak, it's a morning time. It's about 8:45 in the morning. It's about 50 degrees outside, and it is pouring down rain. Now, this rain is going to get out of the way, but it is going to be cold this weekend, and I believe you are going to be sitting out in the cold for a playoff football game tonight. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like 40 degrees tonight.
You better bundle up, brother.
She's already talking about she ain't going, so we'll see. She's in life. Yeah, I ain't gonna sit out there. Okay, you've been about it all year.
Way to support the kid. Nice.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, what I learned, because we have a soccer tournament this weekend.
Chile.
And it's a full 1 hour drive to where we're going, and it's both days. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Full days, and we have a big enough break on the first day that we're going to come home and then make that trip again. Yeah. But what I learned is that you layer up with undergarments and you invest in the right kinds of gloves, like ski stuff, bro, you'll be warm and it's not that bad.
I'm not worried.
It's not going to be pleasant. Not everything in life is easy, but if if you apply yourself a little bit, you can figure it out, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's not hard.
I
Just put some clothes on. Just put some clothes on.
So we're kind of all over the place here with our timing because we're getting to that part of the year where we're trying to accommodate holiday schedules. You have had some personal issues that if you know you. We've also so this may not all be timely, but what is timely is we are coming to the end when people hear this, but when we record it, we're straight up, smack dab, square in the middle of your motherfucking birthday month, brother.
Oh, come on.
What are you doing, man?
Look, Doc and I are recording this episode several weeks in advance, and that's that. I mentioned it on a patron show.
You're turning what, 52?
I mentioned it on a patron show. The discussion of timely current events is not happening the way it normally would because this thing is not going to air for almost another 2.5 weeks that we're recording this. Had a death in the family, so we recorded a few shows and they're in the can.
But we're talking about your birthday, brother. What did you do? How did you celebrate another year on the planet?
I woke up, I worked the shoot job, and I
that's not
watched Tales from the Territories that night.
That sounds good.
Exactly.
Did your boo make you feel special?
I don't know. She bought me a bottle of Hennessy.
Well, that seems pretty special, I
And
guess.
Hennessy retweeted it because I tagged them in it, and they
That's
finally gave me
nice.
the rub. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're a social media superstar. How about that?
Uh, Something like that.
Now, I got another question for you because we hadn't had a chance to talk about this. Do you feel like your GEAUX Tigers have a legitimate chance to sneak into the college football playoffs this year?
No, only because I think what ends up happening is they make it to the SEC title game. Best case scenario. I don't know if they're, dude. Arkansas. We're recording this before they play Arkansas, and people are gonna be like, Arkansas. Arkansas, for whatever reason, no matter their ranking or non-ranking, always battles LSU really tough, no matter how good LSU usually is. So, I think Arkansas may give them some problems, and again, you never know how these things shake out as going through the end of the year. But even if they run the table the rest of the way and then they go into Atlanta for the SEC title game against Georgia, I don't think they can beat Georgia, especially
Okay,
in
that's fair.
Atlanta.
That's
And
fair.
I
Now,
think as long as Tennessee wins out from here on out, I think Tennessee and Georgia get in. I don't know. Now, if they beat
well,
Georgia, that'll be interesting because they'll have two
oh,
losses.
they're in. If they
See,
beat Georgia, they're in.
yeah, and I think the Booker man's gonna be like, we don't give a shit. They're the SEC champions, and
That's
they
right.
have no. It doesn't matter that they have two
I
losses.
agree with you. I agree with you. Now, just know out there if you're listening, I hope that all your teams lose.
Okay.
Whatever team that you went to school or you didn't go to school, but you live in the area and are fake claiming that you went to school, whatever college team that you're rooting for, I hope y'all all lose.
Who is you?
Everybody
Listen,
out there.
all the listeners. Oh, I
Yeah,
got you.
all
Goddamn
their
pal
schools.
pronouns.
Because and it's not that I'm trying to be mean to y'all, but when everybody loses, this shit gets chaotic. And then there's heat. And I love heat.
Well, Clemson lost, and I know you love that.
Oh, I love that, but I also think that the Booker man is sitting there trying to calculate. He's got his abacus out, trying to calculate ways that he can get Notre Dame back in the picture.
That's not gonna happen. I don't. I don't. That's an impossibility.
But you can't tell me it hadn't been the scenario planning hadn't been tried at the Booker man office.
Oh yeah, they're trying to figure out a way to get three SEC teams in. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
So another thing here. You've been recently telling me that you're done with AEW. You're just out. Is this are
I
you
can't. I can't look. I've said my piece about I think Punk was wrong on a few levels with what he did. Go back and listen to that. It's a YouTube clip, so if you want to hear what we had to say about, why Punk was wrong, and why the EVPs were wrong. But I just can't take a promotion serious that runs a sham of an investigation and thinks that it's okay for a handful of EVPs to brum us another talent and start some shit. Now, again, you can say Punk started it. Hey, I say Punk had some wrongdoing in it. But when you're an EVP, you're held to a higher level. The EVP, if Doc gets on Twitter or Facebook or whatever platform his wife has and starts cursing out the EVP of his territory, well, the EVP is not going to come knock on Doc's door to whip some ass. It will be dealt with accordingly. And I'm out. I can't with their bullshit. It has turned into a joke. And that's not because I'm a Punk fan. It's because I just don't like watching bullshit. And that's where I'm at.
okay? Well, continued success to AEW. How about that?
By the way, speaking of that, did you see what Dave? I'm sorry, Eric Bischoff did an episode on the No Limit Soldiers, which God, I hate to tell Easy he got something wrong, but I've actually talked to Big Swole, so there were some things that, according to Big Swole, were wrong.
Maybe Big Swole had it wrong.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe we'll getting a different version. But I'm not trying to pick on Bischoff here. But I mean,
But
Bischoff's
yeah,
not my favorite person. But
yeah. Well, I mean,
a broken clock is right twice a day too.
I think it's very on brand for you to only listen to his show when it's about Master P. Like,
Yeah.
nah, 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 nah.
So Bischoff had a quote in that.
Man, let me tell you something. Master P worked hard, and he's not stupid, but he was, dude. That music was not good.
I disagree. There's a lot of stuff in there that's not good because he made so much. But hey, man,
He
you
flooded.
can't
He
knock him.
flooded the market with a bunch of substandard music.
Mm, there's some stuff that still is good today. That's all I'm gonna say. But Bischoff said, and honestly, my feeling on the No Limit Soldiers, before I say what Bischoff said about AEW, is if you were an actual fan of the No Limit Soldiers and No Limit Records, I should say No Limit Records, they weren't the No Limit Soldiers, No Limit Records. If you were a fan of them, you would know that, in my personal opinion, they did not catch No Limit at their peak. And I believe that was part of the problem.
Wrestling never catches anything cultural at their peak.
So that was, if you are a fan of No Limit, or were a fan of No Limit back then, you would know that they didn't catch them at their peak, and that contributed to some of what may or may not have worked with the angle. Now, as I say that, I believe Kurt Hennig had a blast doing that with the Rap is Crap. I think those guys all worked their asses off. I was into it, still into it. One of these years we're going to get to that moment, right? And we could talk more about it then. But it was very entertaining, and it sounded like Kurt Hennig had a wonderful time doing that whole angle.
That's 8 years from now. We're still going to be doing this in 8 years.
Yeah, I hope
God.
so. I know.
Jeez, really?
But on to what I was going to say about not only the No Limit Soldiers angle, but so Bischoff, and I'm guessing he does this on every episode. He, old Conrad, our friend. Hey, Conrad, how are you? I know you're listening. I know you love us. It's cool. We no heat here, brother, right? Seriously, Conrad and I are cool. Anyway, him and Bischoff are talking, and as always, they are going over the Wrestling Observer from the time, and they're ripping apart lots of stuff with the No Limit Soldiers and everything that was done. And, well, Bischoff goes off at one point and says, you know something, Conrad? Dave is an AEW fanboy and a surrogate. He might as well be on their payroll if he's not already. If Dave applied the same sensibility to what he's seeing now versus Nitro in the late 90s with his buddies in AEW, he'd be shredding them. But he doesn't, because Tony pats him on his head and gives him cookies. Piss up! But there's nothing more condescending than saying you being pat on the head and giving cookies.
That's not helpful.
That's freaking great.
No.
So I'm not the biggest Bischoff fan.
That's not,
I don't hate him.
Nice.
I don't hate Bischoff. I'm just not the biggest fan of his. I think he tells his own version of history too and lies. But that was a tremendous quote that hit the bullseye right on the head by old fanboy Meltzer for his AEW.
Here's the real question. What are we going to do with a guy that probably, in all reality, probably doesn't have a clue on what he's doing with this wrestling business, but is not going to run out of money? Because most of the time, these problems take care of themselves because some mud show jackass just runs out of money.
The only thing I think you can do is you can hope that he gets tired of running it and it just wears so much on him that he's just like, I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
And then what he sells it for and who buys it. Wouldn't it be... Can you imagine if WWE buys it? Like, let's assume it remains.
I told you what's going to happen
with the family that has WWE right now. Let's just assume, I know Vince is out, but let's just, WWE hadn't been sold. Let's assume, Stephanie, Shane are all still involved. Let's assume that they were to buy AEW.
I told
Like,
you
I
it was
think
gonna
that's
happen.
actually the only thing that would. I think that's the only course of action if he were to sell it. But I don't know. Who knows?
Well,
Completely hypothetical when I say that. But go ahead. What else were you saying?
oh, nothing, nothing. I
You
just,
didn't agree with
I
Bischoff's
just,
statement?
I don't think we know enough to say these kinds of things.
Okay. So first off, we ain't saying nothing. I am taking a direct quote and I typed it verbatim of what he said. So
I don't know. It feels like you're jumping in on this.
no, I just think it's hilarious that he called Dave a
I'm
fanboy.
trying to play it lighter with a lighter touch because I'm not wanting to be drug into this. What you're trying to get into?
Oh, okay. Okay.
What?
Right, right, right,
I mean,
right.
I just don't. Not everybody needs to be in a fight all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And I just
All right.
told you that now that Double J's in there, he's going to trade about 4 or 5 Global Force gold bars to Shad Khan and take over the promotion.
He ain't gonna. He will. No, that's not gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. Global Force Gold. What a work that was, huh? He was selling gold bars.
No, he wasn't.
Christ. Boy, these wrestlers. As I said on Twitter last week, and Mikey and DFW co-signed for me. Carney's gonna Carney, bruh.
Hey, if it's not gold, it's fucking jet skis and beach rentals on Waikiki Beach. So
No, he was
guys,
just working.
well, yeah, and so here's the thing, we continue, if you're not a patron, we continue to cover the recent Tales from the Territory series on Vice. And we just recorded Polynesian Pro Wrestling. It's probably been out though now for quite a while when this gets listened to. And if you're not a patron, I think it's time that you become one.
tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. You get not only that, you get the recent Clash of the Champions and the what was it, Super Brawl that we did, the W World Class shows. tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. We got ECW shows on there, NWA Power with Sparks and a little fella half pint. All of that available. The ECW show with Mike and JV. All of that available on Patreon, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Great way to support the show, and you get tons of extra stuff. Tons. By the way, Clash of the Champions that we did, Doc, the PN News, Salt and Pepper, well, actually Pepper and Spinderella, along with Johnny B. Bad and Teddy Long. Glorious. Worth the price of admission.
Hey, it was great all the way around. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay, Doc, we need to keep the show moving. You ready to get to the 5-star reviews? Or you got something else on this Thanksgiving Eve?
No, no, no. I hope everybody is starting to get their drink on and they're cooking on and they're listening to this. And then nothing better to listen to than 5-star reviews. We got this one in from Kenny from St. Louis, and he says, looking for something new. And boy, this is a great one. This proves that you don't always have to just be a mud show flipper flopper and diver. This is just a straight up good meat and potatoes review. Thanks, Kenny. He says, I was born and raised on wrestling at the Chase. Been a fan of pro wrestling for 50 plus years. The world of wrestling podcasts, was very new to me until 2018. I found the Huntsville guy and enjoyed Tony Schiavone's show, but needed something new. I took a chance on BTT and I've been hooked ever since. Mike, Doc, and Harper are the best. If you're a fan of JCP or most any Southern wrestling, you'll love these guys. Place all sensitivities aside and enjoy the ride. Thanks, guys, for doing what you do. Kenny from St. Louis.
That's a hell of a review.
Yeah, Kenny, you stay safe out there because from what I understand, St. Louis is like the most dangerous city in America.
Okay, I have no clue what you're talking about,
It's
but I love the.
statistically, seriously, it's like statistically like the murder capital of the country. So, protect your neck.
Well, Kenny, I thank you. This is a glorious review. Especially knowing you grew up going to wrestling at the Chase and been a fan for a very long time. And we're glad you found us. And thank you very much. I'm always interested how people find this little outlaw mud show production, right, Doc? It's always very interesting. So
We've been
thank
over
you.
here for a while just waiting for people to stumble on us, you know?
So we got and thank you, thanks again, Kenny. Very much appreciated. Leave your 5-star reviews on iTunes and Apple on Podcast Addict, and we will read it on air. So with that said, we got 2 more reviews actually on Podcast Addict, and ironically, one of these reviews came from someone we mentioned on the last show, not the Clash, but the last Saturday night, and that was Best Dave Ever over on Twitter. And Best Dave Ever put on Podcast Addict. He says, if you like wrestling, spelled wrestling, Rasslin, that's wrestling, your humor dirty and no ads every 7 minutes, then this is the podcast for you. He says, I found the show in the fall of 2019 and have been hooked ever since. Doc, Mike, and Harper truly do it old school and call it in the ring, which makes them the GOATs of podcasting. Others have tried, but no one, and I mean no one, covers old school better than BTT. Now remember, Doc, this is the gentleman, fine Christian man, fine Christian wrestler, gentleman wrestler, who has gone back also and re-listened to tons of our old shows, a number of times. The Saturday Night and Smoky Mountain. I think he's been through Smoky Mountain 3 times by now.
Yeah.
So that's commitment, and it's appreciated. So thank you, Best Dave Ever. I got one more too.
Oh, okay. Let's hear that one.
From Jesse Lucas, 1980, another BTT Hall of Fame patron, as well as Best Dave Ever is a BTT Hall of Fame patron. Jesse Lucas says, with his 5-star review, the best there is, was, or ever will be. Mike, Doc, and the Superstar have set the bar for shenanigans and filthy fun so ludicrously high for a podcast that the rest might as well tap now. In all seriousness, this is a phenomenal podcast. Listening to the boys talk old school wrestling is always a delight and never fails to brighten my day. They talk a lot of shit and keep it entertaining. So subscribe, sit back, and enjoy the show. Hey, Jesse, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Talking shit's why we started this.
I mean, that's all it is, man. I mean, that's just the basics of it, right? But some great, like 3 of them, 3 great 5-star reviews.
I love it.
Yeah,
we are continuing our path towards world domination, and it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, our body of work is growing. Our brain, what'd you call it?
I have a feeling that when we become dictators, we're going to be benevolent dictators. How do you think? You think so?
I would, not you, but yes.
What?
You don't. I would be very benevolent. You, I don't know.
Okay,
you don't agree?
I would probably increase the number of naps that I take. Probably.
I could see that.
Yeah.
One other thing, Doc. We did get one new patron this week, and he is Israel. So thanks for signing up and becoming a patron. He did tell me via email he has been a very, 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 very long time listener. He found the show, I think, several years back, and he said I had to sign up and support the show. He's like,
there you go.
So. Yeah, good stuff, Israel.
I was thinking about this holiday meal we're all about to consume, and it's always good food, and you're trying to work in especially for me, your football around it. Here's what I want you to do this year, because sometimes you got to change up, so you can do what we're going to play at the end. That's evergreen. That'll work whenever. But this year, what I want you to try to do is work in the word woke as many times as you can.
No, don't do that.
But not to mean politically woke. What time did I woke up at, and just keep saying woke as many times as you can, but not in that way, and see if anybody picks up on it.
they'll pick up on it immediately, and somebody's gonna say something.
Well, then you can have a nice discussion
Uh,
and really share and air out and share your grievances and differences with your family
right,
members.
right.
Well, here's the
Sure.
thing. People are like, we shouldn't talk about it because it's Thanksgiving. Well, not talking about this shit is why we can't talk about shit.
Uh, yeah, I need to say one thing before we go to this review portion of the show. Thanksgiving is like your favorite holiday because you get to have Papa Doc over there, and while the Cowboys are on, not he doesn't shut up every damn play that doesn't work, which that has to happen a lot with your team,
Shut up.
and he just does not shut up,
We're
and
not
it's
doing that this year.
miserable. Oh, y'all not?
No, we
Okay,
got a different plan. I'm gonna be out of town.
okay.
Lawanda's
Well,
house.
oh, how about that? Thanks for the
Yeah,
invite.
so now
Appreciate
I
it.
got to get up there the day before because she didn't have cable or satellite and figure out my streaming services.
Wow, sounds pretty miserable.
Can't stand people that cut the cord, man. Why?
I mean, do they
I,
not have a regular TV? It's not like it's on cable.
it's
It's
on.
on. Is it on Fox or what's it on? Fox or
I don't
CBS?
know, but what? You're not
It's on,
saving that
right?
much money because you're collecting these subscriptions to all
Okay.
these streaming services, and you just want to be able. It's like telling motherfuckers that you're a vegetarian. That's what this is.
Oh, Jesus
I cut the
Christ.
cord as the new I'm a vegetarian.
Okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about, people. I'm not trying to offend the vegetarians today, but anyway. Oh my
Get
God,
you a
you're something.
steak and sit down in front of the TV and turn it on, let the satellite warm up, and let's go.
Can we talk about some old school wrestling now at this
I
point
don't
in the
think so,
program?
because this is a fucking clip show, so book it,
Jesus
bitch.
Christ. I didn't want to say it before we, got our flips and dives in, but here we are. It's WCW Saturday Night on TBS from June the 15th, 1991. If this review portion of the show is short, it's
Blame them,
because,
not us.
yeah, blame them and not us. And Doc, I am going to run down what happened, but you don't have to add in any thoughts as I go from these
Don't tell me what to
segments.
do. I'll add in all the thoughts. I got 2 pages of notes here, brother.
I don't know how, but anyway. So this episode is the post Clash 15 episode that we just did a few days ago, and there are lots of replays from the Clash, which again we recorded and aired not that long ago on our Patreon feed. So remember, become a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. I say it repeatedly because there's no ads on this show, as best Dave ever said, and it's a great way to support the show. Put a little money into the show, so whenever we got to buy shit for the show, we can do so. So tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. The intro of the show is a clip of Muda versus Luger from the Clash, and Muda doing the Burger King thing when he flipped to the outside. And then we go to Jim Ross on what Ross calls a special edition of Saturday Night because it's a bunch of damn replays. Now, Doc, as I say, there's a bunch of replays. You know, if this were 1991 and we missed the Clash, we would have been in hog heaven. We'd have been
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
pigs in
Don't get,
slop, right?
yeah, a hundred
Okay,
percent.
yeah. So before we get into the review, the clips that they show and talk about briefly, there is an opening match, which is Tom Zink, or I'm sorry, the Z-Man, Chris Zonch's favorite wrestler, versus Randy Barber. Now, quickly, Doc, this match, I can't find it anywhere on the history of WWE.com results, which they damn near have every result on their website. So I have no clue what the hell is going on. But yeah, I just couldn't find when or where this took place, and I was just genuinely
I was gonna
curious.
ask you because there's a lot of empty seats. It looks like on the far side of the hard cam, or there's like a tarp. Is this like one of those places that Smoky Mountain ran?
It's a good question. I could not, maybe, but I couldn't
This
find.
fellow looks like Arn Anderson and Buzz Sawyer had a child.
Yeah, we've seen him before, though.
I know.
At one point, he had like beige colored tights on that like matched the color of his skin, and you couldn't see where the tights
I don't like
and
that
his
at all.
skin stopped. Yeah. But this is one of two matches on this show. Literally, that's it. One of two matches. So, Doc, it's not very long. What do you have from this thing, if anything? You sound
Nothing.
upset.
Nothing except at the end we get the Western Union replay, and I was hoping that Western Union could not only ship me some money, but ship Z-Man out of the promotion. Look at that terrible drop kick.
Yeah, it was like he kind of fell. He hit the missile drop kick off the top rope and wins. Doc, what I said a second ago, though, I mean, if this is 1991, though, and we missed the Clash and we see this show, I mean,
Let's have
what do
it,
you think?
man. This is great. I can't believe I get to see this stuff.
Yeah, we missed the Clash. Like, okay, because, you used to go by, I think, your grandparents, and they had TBS because you didn't have cable. I would go by my Uncle Joe, and he had cable, so, I would get to watch there if that's when I caught TBS. So, yeah, it was one of them things where, hey, if I'm, why did I just do Tommy Rich? Hey, if I'm by my aunt and uncle's house, yeah, I'm enjoying the fact that I got some wrestling. All right, then here we go. Here's where the replays start. Okay, so the first one is first one's actually not it is a replay, but Paul Lee starts talking about the Great American Bash, and he mentions Luger defeating Muta in a very quick match, and that was going to mean that Luger is supposed to now wrestle Ric Flair for the title at the Great American Bash. Well,
no spoilers.
Well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it for us. Let me just leave that alone. But we get a couple of cookie cutter promos from Flair, who's got Jim Cornette glasses on in this promo, and Luger talking about their upcoming match at the Great American Bash, which is not going to happen. Spoiler alert after I said it. Doc, anything from that, or can I keep rolling?
I just wondered on Luger if there was a naked rat on the ceiling.
Because he kept looking up?
Yeah.
Right here? Yeah. No. He was just, hey, Luger's promo was not bad. It's just quick, and it's I don't know. He's staring up into the sky like he's praying. Look, that's what he looks like he's doing. He's talking to the ceiling.
Looks like there's a glass ceiling and there's a girl spread eagle on the other side.
Oh, my God.
What?
Grow up. So after all of that, we then go to a replay of Sting versus Nikita Koloff. No, I'm not stopping on the Alka-Seltzer commercial. No,
I had that 7 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, what do you want to say about 7 minutes and 40 seconds? Let me go back to it. Alka-Seltzer cold medicine when you got to get relief.
When you got to get relief.
Can you give me some relief? All right,
I'm telling you that relief is not just kid stuff.
So then after we get some relief from the commercial, we go to a replay of Sting versus Nikita at the Clash. We join it in progress. Sting won. We're not going to talk more about it. You can hear us talk about it on the Clash Review, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Then we get a Sting promo.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, let me get to it. You got something from it? I hope you can hear it. I was having this episode seems to be giving me audio issues, just so you know. So let's see. Here it is.
Well, Nikita, you caught me coming through the ropes, didn't you? You met me head on, just like you always do. Only thing was, I knew you were there. And this time I was coming fast towards you. This time I was the train. And although you did catch me coming through those ropes, pal, I caught you too. Mixed it up a little bit, didn't I? Just what the Stinger's known for, mixing it up a little bit. I don't consider this done between you and me, though, pal. No, sirree. People say, Sting, what a great victory. A few people patting on my back as I walked through the curtain after the match was over with. Yeah, big victory. But the victory is right here. It's not done yet. It's still in my heart. I still want to get back at you. I want you to know what it's like to be surprised. Maybe one time I'll surprise you. And when I do, you're gonna be sorry, Nikita Koloff. I guarantee you that. Because as long as I'm able to walk down the road, pal, I'm gonna beat your buns raw. Woo!
He said, I'm gonna beat your buns raw. Jesus Christ.
He sure did.
And we got a Everett Star, whoa, at the end, a light one, not a big one.
He's terrible.
Wow. You're talking about Sting here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm shocked. Any other thoughts Or you just want to talk about beating the Buns Raw?
Beating Buns Raw.
He says he's going to get Nikita back. So, well, he beat him, but you know what I'm saying. It's not over. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes and where this goes. We'll keep the show moving. There's an ad for the Rap Master PN News. Make sure you go to an arena soon and see him. And then we see a replay of the Danger Zone with Jason Hervey from The Clash. I'm just going to repeat. Jason Hervey got the shit smacked out of him by Paul Lee's phone in the back of the head. And it was great. And we break it all down on Patreon. Now, Doc, any other closing thoughts that we did not talk about when we did the Patreon show about Jason Hervey getting the dog?
It was tremendous.
It was. And then Missy came out and I guess you can say saved him, ran off the folks.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so. That's
what?
That's probably fair. Please tell me you're not going to play this whole thing.
No, we're going to talk about it as it goes.
Okay.
I'm not going to play the audio from it because it's very, very, very long. So we've been talking about the Desperados. They've been showing these various clips. Well, the Desperados, we finally get to see, I guess, who they are. And it's Black Bart, Dutch Mantel, and Deadeye Dick, who is Randy Colley. They are in this old Western town, walking through the town. You can see it on our Patreon, on the video version.
Just yelling at each other constantly.
Yelling at each other constantly.
Right, you don't mind knowing I mean with this? People that look like Black Bart are still yelling like that in 2022.
Well, I had something a little different. I said, so it felt like we were positioning this the first couple of weeks, even though we didn't see these guys, to be like a serious Western type gimmick. Well, they walk past the sheriff and they turn into, after they walk past the sheriff, Larry, Curly, and Moe. They become the goddamn Three Stooges of the West. They're arguing with each other. They're a cartoon. It's right. Very...
It's not 1865.
I mean, you can do a cowboy type gimmick, but
why does Dutch think that WCW's on the other side of the saloon? We're almost to WCW.
That's what I'm saying. They turned it into a joke. It was like the Three Stooges arguing. Like right now we're watching Dutch and Bart and they're arguing with each other. They're wandering around this old West town, and I don't know why they think. I don't know if they think that's. I thought the thing was they were looking for Stan Hansen, like he would be there.
But Stan Hansen's like,
this is some horrible shit.
Brand.
So they walk past the marshal, and again they turn into Larry, Curly, and Moe. They wander in this. Well, Deadeye Dick, Randy Colley, wanders in this saloon, and he's just a buffoon. Like I'm not trying to be mean.
Special person.
Yeah, they got him built like he's a special person.
He's kind of like the Mongo character from Blazing Saddles.
That's probably what it is, yeah. Except worse. Like, as in not entertaining at all.
No.
They finally realize that Deadeye Dick is missing, and now they got to find him. There's some talk about a letter Stan Hansen wrote, but it's in actuality Deadeye Dick wrote it. Again, it's all over the place. Meanwhile, in the saloon, Deadeye Dick, who's supposed to be a wrestler and a tough guy, is a buffoon, and he's not even a buffoon. They build him as a special person. He ends up getting his ass whooped in the saloon. I don't. What the piss are we watching, Doc? There's no.
I tell you
sense
what
to
watching.
this.
We are watching a real-time, real-life, up-close and personal reverse money printer.
I mean, this goes on
forever.
For 8, 9, 10 minutes. It's deplorable. Like, it's just. we've seen a lot of dumb stuff in wrestling, so I can't make the statement that I want to make and say this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in wrestling. But it's one of the dumbest. It's top 10 for sure. And this is just the first of many of these from what I think happens. There's Dead-Eye Dick. He's finally getting his ass whooped. He got hit in the head with a bottle. Anything else, Doc, before the sheriff arrests him? I don't think we've made it halfway through as we're watching it here.
This went on. Well, here's the thing. If we're going to get some tourist attraction and shut the fucker down for a while so we can cut this promo, at least it better go on for a while, I guess.
Fair point. And actually, we were at the end of this one. There's another. I'm thinking of another one that went on
whatever.
forever.
I quit watching. I'm texting with LaFonda in there about something. I don't give a shit.
Oh, it pissed you off that much, huh?
It's just not good.
All right. Continuing along.
It's not good, brother.
Continuing along, the Bruise Cruise. They show a Bruise Cruise ad. I think we've talked a lot about the Bruise Cruise and what's going to be getting bruised in the Bruise Cruise.
Uteruses.
We then go to a replay of Barry and Arn Anderson versus Brian Pillman and Elegante from The Clash and the shenanigans that ensued. I will tell you here that Pillman was pinned, which means he's supposed to now leave WCW since it was a loser leaves town match. Whoever took the pin has to leave. So there's that. But we go back to the green screen, and Jim Ross updates us, and he tells us that a newcomer had the meeting with Jim Hurd.
You should probably. Yeah, good God.
What?
This is.
Well, the thunder just hit here, Doc.
Uh-oh, you better watch your ass, son.
Here, let me play a soundbite of this with JR real quick.
That was a great tag team event, and unfortunately, Flying Brian must now leave World Championship Wrestling. But interestingly enough, yesterday morning, in the offices of World Championship Wrestling, I understand a newcomer had a meeting with Jim Hurd, and this newcomer has picked up the contracts of Flying Brian. We understand this newcomer goes by the name of the Yellow Dog. We're certainly going to keep our attention turned to the Yellow Dog, and we certainly are saddened by the departure of Flying Brian Pillman from World Championship Wrestling.
So we got somebody named the Yellow Dog coming in, Doc.
That sounds exciting.
Boy, I can't wait. I mean, I wonder what made him so special that he could just pick up Pillman's contract.
I don't know.
Oh, so I guess we'll just have to stay tuned, huh?
We'll have to stay plugged into this.
Yeah, we'll have to cover the event.
As industry insiders, we will need to cover the event. Boy, you know, I missed this in the Clash, but Slater takes a hell of a back bump to get that boot off.
What did I miss? Well, I'm supposed to watch it here. Oh, when he's taking. Okay, so they're attacking Steiner, and Slater wants to get his boot off so they can lay into Rick Steiner, and he takes a back bump so that Dickie Murdoch can pull the boot off his foot. Yeah, that was pretty damn good, Doc. Good shit, pal.
Good shit, pal.
All right, so what happened at the Clash was the Hardliners, Dick Slater and Dickie Murdoch, attacked the Steiners, and they seem to have damaged Steiner's arm. So they cut a promo. We do get a promo from them, the Hardliners, after the Clash, but they air it here from the Hardliners.
I want to ask you something before we see it.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of these two do you think is more sober here?
Do you want me to? Can I answer after we listen to it and watch it?
Just think about it as we're watching it, everybody. This is a game we can all play.
Will do. Here we go. Here's the promo.
You people have just witnessed of what the Hardliners, the Hardline Collection Agency, is going to do to the Steiners. Steiners, we were out for business. We were out for blood. We were out for money. We were out for your World's Tag Team Championship belts. And there's been nobody over the last couple years that even laid claim to fame to whipping you. But you're looking at the two men right here that has never, ever backed up any individual, whether it's in the wrestling ring, in the saloon, the honky-tonks, the mud and blood and the beer. So Steiners, that's just a fall lesson what's going to happen to you. So get ready. Dick, the Hardline Collection have got a lot of collecting to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the baddest team in the world, the Steiners, Well, what are they doing right now, Dickie? They're laying down, crying like two babies. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. We ain't going to march, no, we're going to walk. We're going to walk right down that aisle someday. And if you guys have got the guts to take it, because we have got the guts to dish it out. I like a damn good fight, and so does Dick Murdoch. And Steiners, we're looking for one back. And I guarantee you we're going to get it. But I guarantee you one thing, brother. When we walk out of the ring the next time me and you and Dick Murdoch get in the ring, you're going to be wearing no titles around your waist.
This
It's hard. I'm going to go with Slater, but in reality, we need a breathalyzer done to figure out which one was more drunk.
We need the extra strength breathalyzer that goes to 11.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That was a great question, though.
In 2 years or so, we're gonna have Dickie out shirtless in the snow on a balcony cutting a promo with his girlfriend.
In one of the most glorious Smokey segments that there was.
I love it.
It
was.
Jimmy they couldn't have planned that better. I mean, they didn't plan it. They didn't know the snow was going to be coming down. That's the thing. Like, it wasn't like, you could just be like, oh, it's not like it had $1 million budget. We wanted to be snowing with you shirtless sitting on a porch, cutting a promo. Like, it truly could not have been a better scene. And most of the snow was just, happenstance. I mean, it just happened to be snowing that day. What'd you think of their promo, though?
It's good. I mean,
they're believable.
Sure.
That's the part I take from. They are believable. I believe these guys. I don't think this isn't how most people remember these two, but they're believable. And the outfits are kind of dumb, but as a duo and tag team, I look at those two and go, well, they're two beer drinking shit kickers. Like, they might not be as strong as the Steiners, but for a shoot, those two crusty old bastards can hang with Rick and Scott. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
They're not like Butch Reed, Ron Simmons hang with them, or some of the Nasty Boys. Or maybe they're more similar to Nasty Boys, but not really. Anyway, we'll keep moving. We'll see what happens with that angle in the territory. Oh, I'm sorry, promotion. As I was corrected.
Who corrected you on that?
A listener was like,
a listener. Are they a patron?
Yeah. Boy, that rain is coming down, bro.
I told you, it's bad out here. Is this a patron?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, then maybe you should just listen for free and limit that be your total interaction with the show.
All right, unless it's something good, right?
No, I don't care.
Okay. Well, Jim Ross throws to a replay of Luger and Muta. Luger won. And then Jim Ross throws to a Luger promo after the match with Muta. And then Flair cuts a promo too. Did you want to hear this? I mean, I don't have much from it, but I didn't
but I thought it was neat that Luger was standing there cutting a promo with mist on his face until I realized that mist was in Muta's mouth, and that makes it spit, and that's gross.
Yeah, so I'm getting to it on the video version where we won't listen to it, but we can see exactly what Doc's talking about. I don't think we really focused a lot on this during the Clash, but although it was not a good match in the sense that it was over very quickly and they jobbed Muta out, I thought it was pretty cool how Luger threw his arm in front of his face. And you can kind of see it on the promo where the green is on his forehead above where his arm was, and the green mist is on his nose and below. Where he got misted. So he blocked the mist, and that's how he beat Muta. And that's what Luger talks about here. He talks about blocking the mist and beating Muta that way. But it was pretty nasty that he shot that mist, and I was like, oh, that's gross. I think you asked me this some time ago. How much would you need to be paid for Muta to mist you in the face, at that? How much would you need to be paid?
Me?
Yeah. How much would you want? To be misted. Remember how Missy got misted that time? When he blew the mist in Misty's face? Jesus. How much would you need to be paid? There's not an answer.
I'd say $5,000.
Wow. Okay. Any other thoughts on Luger and Flair here, Doc?
Flair says he's going to be here for a long time.
Boy, if that's not a... Oh, man. I was never thinking in my mind, he had to know right now. I'm not fucking staying in this place, right?
I think so.
I'm going to be here for a long time. I guess that kind of also goes to show you the professional he is. He was trying to fight it to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
We can say a lot of things about Ric Flair, but when it came to pro wrestling, he was there and on time every time.
Yep.
All right, continuing along then. We get a replay of Sting celebrating with one of his little stingers and Nikita attacking Sting. That happened at the Clash. And then we get to the last, essentially, I guess, kind of the last thing that's on the show, which is a match. So we've gone through some of the more high-profile events or matches at the Clash. We finally get to another match on this show, and it is Dustin Rhodes and the Young Pistols. They're tagging up against the Freebirds and Bad Street. Now, Jim Ross mentions as we go to this match that the Freebirds and Bad Street defeated Tommy Rich, JYD, and Ricky Morton. Morton had refused to wrestle in that match, so the Freebirds and Bad Street are the new six-man tag champs. And you did see for a second, we finally see the six-man belts. They had them. Humperdinck's got them, on his shoulders and everything as the match was getting started. So we finally see the six-man belts. JR also speculates at what's going to happen to Paul Lee after how bad he attacked Jason Hervey at the Clash. Doc, they gave this match about 15 minutes. I mean, it was the last quarter of the episode. So I guess I'll go to you. You have any thoughts about the six-man belts, the Freebirds and Bad Street being the new six-man champs, or anything you want to discuss from the actual match?
Well, we got what looks to be a professional Diamond Doll out there. Good God.
Okay.
What?
That's the one thing you were focused on, huh?
First.
See if I can,
it was the thing I was focused on first.
Let me see if I can rewind to her. Well, Humperdinck is really dressed something special, too. I'm trying to go to when they come out. There she is. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Okay. Fabulous Freebirds with Diamond and Dink. So I guess she's supposed to be Diamond.
No, I'd say she's not billed. Diamond is DDP. Dink is...
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at Bad Street. You see that feather?
Blue
mask?
feather. Yes.
Jesus Christ. Look, this is like, hold on, bro. I'm glad you said something. Because I got to rewind. They're like the goddamn circus coming to town down the aisle, are they not?
I like it. That's the part of this I like. Then the bell rings.
Look at them.
Yeah. I like a crew. A good crew.
Look at this shit.
Yeah, it's good. There's women and feathered masked dudes and an old biker fella and a future yoga master and a guy that can't dance.
Wreck.
Another guy that can. So let's get to 4940, where we get a little, for lack of a better term, there you go. Dick dancing.
Let me go back. Yeah. Well, say it again, Doc. What's Michael Hayes doing?
Dick dancing.
There he goes. He's swiveling the hips. He's swiveling them. In the moonwalk.
When's the last time you think he moonwalked?
Last night, right before he went balls deep in some suspect.
Come on.
Diamond doll. Look at them. This is glorious. They are a circus. This is, look, man. You know when people talk about the WCW version of the Freebirds and they're like, they're not the Freebirds. It's not this is the quintessential moment in a capsule when somebody says that's not the Freebirds. The way they're dressed, the way they look, the Diamond Doll, DDP, Dink, Bad Street, the masked man is Brad Armstrong. This is the quintessential moment of this is not the Freebirds.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, keep it.
Well,
going. Let's see.
this was what can be referred to as an innings eater in baseball. This was slow. It went forever. And I feel like it was done quicker and better at the Clash.
Well, they did this to, as you said, eat up some time, inning eater.
So I'd just seen it basically, and I wasn't real interested in seeing it again.
And, they were waiting to get after the Clash to have the new taping so they'd have some new material to air, basically. And that's all it's boiled down to, for being real. There's nothing else. All right. So the way this thing wraps up finally is, because Doc is right, it's very slow, grab a hold, brother, nothing flashy. They had a really good match at the Clash. Ironically, this match is much longer than the Clash match. This was like 15, 16 minutes. The Clash match wasn't even half of that, but it was still better. So there's a hot tag to Dustin. Tracy was taking the heat. Dustin's in there tearing things up. Dustin hits Hayes with the Bulldog and is about to pin Hayes. And it looks like they're going to win the 6-man straps, but Ricky Morton interferes, breaks up the pin. It's a DQ. The heels powder out the ring, and Rhodes and the Pistols win by DQ, but don't win the belts. And the other thing to note is, since it happened to the Clash and they haven't said it here, Ricky Morton did officially, or maybe they said it on commentary and I didn't make a note of it. Ricky Morton did officially join the York Foundation, which would explain why he came in and jumped Dustin right here. So there was that. Doc, any other thoughts before I mentioned that this was very much a lackluster episode? They kind of just were running out the clock. 80% of it was replays.
I like how Morton's contribution to becoming a corporate guy is to just put his hair in a ponytail.
I mean, there is kind of something to that. Well, he did have a suit on, too, at the Clash. Let's not forget that.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He seems like he's throwing more, like, demonstrative knuckle punches as well, but other than that.
It's a very astute observation. Good point.
Well,
you're Doc, right? I mean,
let me show you throw this illegal. Let you see me throw this illegal right hand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So on that note, that's how this episode ends, and we get a Brute commercial at the end of it. The essence of man. Come on, put it on. I don't know why I chuckled at that. Doc, we need to rate it and hand out some Rolexes. I feel like in the past, whenever we've had replay shows like this, we don't really rate them. Because what is there to rate? We gotta
rate it, dude.
Jesus. How do you rate this? Are you going to rate it an A? Because at this point in time, we're less than an hour into this whole show, and the first 30 minutes of it was flips and dives at the beginning that we normally do? Is that how you're going to rate it? I don't know. What are you saying? What are you going to rate it?
Well, my starting position is it's a clip show, so it's an F. But you don't like me to quote unquote play heel, even though that's what you told me to do several years ago to get the show hot.
That's a lie, but okay. On Thanksgiving, you're gonna lie like that to me? You're gonna lie?
Well,
to
it's not
people,
Christmas, so what do I care? Thanksgiving's kind of built on a lie, isn't it?
Bro, actually, Thanksgiving is the best holiday. If you want to talk about holidays,
I don't
you
care
know
about
why?
that. It's built on a lie. It's built on out of friendship.
I'm not here.
Here's a blanket.
I'm not here to litigate manifest destiny and the Europeans handing out the blankets to the...
You also said that Christmas is based on a lie, but I don't want you to get away with that.
I didn't say that. I like Christmas, but I like Thanksgiving more because Thanksgiving isn't necessarily a money-sucking holiday. It's like an actual holiday where you eat with your family, and if you're like me, I mean, there's no heat with my family, so I don't get into. We don't get into the arguments that some families do, because some families ain't got nothing but drama at holidays.
Coming by this year.
Oh yeah, he'll come by. He'll come by with his Winston 100s.
Yeah, I like.
I'm worried about Pop, man. He's really been like And if you're a new listener, Pop Pop is not Ric Flair. Pop Pop was talked about 7 years ago on this show, long before our friend Conrad. Hey, Conrad, how you doing? Said Pop Pop is in terms of Ric Flair.
Pop Pop is your father-in-law.
Is my legit father-in-law. Pop Pop doesn't seem to be doing. He's not. He's very. I feel like he's like depressed, and he's getting older, and I don't think he's doing well, man. I kind of worry about him. I try to talk to him, but he doesn't really say too much, man. And my wife catches the same thing. So, but Pop Pop will be over with his Winston 100s.
Okay.
Not cool, Filter Kings.
And he likes the new mansion.
I don't have a mansion. That would be you with your moat and electrocution fence on the outside.
And electric eels.
Where I got to go through the guard gate and they frisk me and pull me out my vehicle and they take me out my truck and they're like, sir, you got any weapons? You got anything in here? I go, hey, look, I'm legal. Here's my ID. Yeah. So anyway, he's been over and he likes the new crib, but again, he doesn't seem to be doing too well.
Well, we'll pour one out for Pop Pop. So this episode was an hour. So we're going to have to come off the F and start bumping it up some. There was some new content, new promos, couple matches, but none of it was any real revelation or anything that was great. So I'm going to keep it on the level with everybody and give it a C.
I think that's fair. I don't know how you give it anything else. The only new stuff
I watched it in about 40 minutes, cutting through the clips.
The commercials too. I mean, it was commercials.
Where they had commercials. I got it done. I wasn't pissed off when it was over, but it didn't pop me in any way either.
And the Clash, that's the thing too. Like, it's not a referendum on a Clash when we say, yeah, it was replayed. No, the Clash was good. We actually already three of us rated the Clash really, really well. Become a patron, listen to it. tinyurl.com.
We were pleased with the Clash.
Excellent Clash. Very much so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with a C too. I'm gonna go with a C as well because
that's fair.
Okay, so here's the tough part.
No, it isn't.
No one deserves a Rolex.
Yes, they do.
Okay, who are you giving it to? I'm shocked. Because I'm giving out a reverse Rolex.
Oh, you're giving it to the Desperados.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And the problem is that shit's not over. It's going to get worse.
It's not over in two ways.
Oh, right. Exactly. You nailed it. It's not over in two ways.
I'm going to get a flag thrown on this, but I'm going to give a Rolex to Paul Lee for hitting Jason Hervey in the head with the phone again.
That already happened.
I know, but I got to see it again, and it was great again.
That's why this show got a C, because you got to see Jason Hervey getting his ass whipped. But he got, as Kenny Bolin says, whether you like him or not, as Kenny Bolin says, he slapped the dog fuck out of him with that phone.
It was tremendous.
I mean,
if we wanted to sell tickets, you could let Marks line up for $1 to get a chance to hit him with something.
You'd be one of the Marks lined up too.
Damn right. That kid just wears me out. I didn't like the way he treated Fred Savage on the original Wonder Years, and I don't like that he's in with Missy, and I don't like that he's at the Bull Drop In, and I just don't like him. And he's with Bischoff, and it's just not my thing.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you, dude. For real. So okay. On that note, I am going to give a reverse Rolex. It's going to the Desperados. We're a fan of Dutch from Smokey. Dutch is.
This is terrible.
Here's the problem. This is what terrible booking does to a decent talent. Like, nobody's gonna say Dutch was top 10 wrestler of all time and worker of all time. Top 5, whatever. But you look at Dutch and you look at his run in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and even if you want to look at the Real American stuff in WWE he did with Swagger. I mean, Dutch is a fantastic worker. He's a good, solid worker. He will contribute to your promotion and help you make money. He ain't going to be a millionaire at it, but he's going to help you make money. He's going to put asses in seats. Would you agree with that, Doc? And
Yeah.
to do this to Dutch is just absurd. Like, if you think Black Bart winning the WC world title was stupid and shouldn't have happened, I can show you something worse, and it's called the Desperados in WCW in 1991. This should not have happened. They turned Randy Colley into a special person, and I'm not trying to make fun of special people. It's just dumb. It is really, really dumb. And on that note, that's getting the reverse Rolex, and I am going to also give a Rolex because Doc convinced me to give it to Paulie for slapping the piss out of Hervey in the back of the head with the phone. 100%.
I was fast forwarding there through that and stopped. I saw it coming and was like, I'm going to slow down and watch again.
Yeah. So,
and for me to slow down in a clip show means it must have been tremendous.
Agree. I just realized something I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, so let me mention it real quick. Pro Wrestling Tees, they always do a sale for Thanksgiving. So since this is the Thanksgiving episode and like Black Friday and whatnot, I don't have the code as I'm thinking about it at this moment because they haven't sent it yet to me. But there will be a sale, probably 20-25% on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can pick up a t-shirt or two of ours. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/booking the territory, or just go to prowrestlingtees.com. Go to the YouTube podcast section of the store, and then you can find Booking the Territory there. Pick up a shirt or two for the holidays to wear, maybe not to your Thanksgiving meal, but your Christmas meal, and you can spread the love of BTT as you do that. Also, I've said this years ago. You know what you want for Christmas? You want the gift of BTT. How do you do that? Tell your wife, your side piece, your extra piece on the side, whatever you want to call that thing, or her, or whatever. Whatever you date, maybe it's an alien. I don't care. As long as they can buy you a subscription to our Patreon, and you can tell them that's what you want for Christmas, and give them a link, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, and tell them to sign up and become a patron. I will be running a special where you get 2 months for free if you go annual. The key is on annual, the week of Thanksgiving. So it's running right now as you're hearing this, and it will end on the Monday after Thanksgiving. So again, it's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. If you become an annual patron, you'll get 2 months for free. Even if you're a monthly subscriber now, if you go annual, you'll get 2 months for free. So become a patron and tell your loved ones, when they say, what do you want for Christmas? And you never know, tell them that. That way they can get you a Patreon subscription. Doc, shout out to Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT. Slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us. Please support them and give them a listen. OVP, I think, is getting close to their 300th episode. So congrats, guys, on all you've done with your show. Long term, they've stuck around booking. They didn't peter out after a year, and they are consistent every single week. And then shout out to the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV. They do the ECW show on our Patreon feed, but they also do a show on the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So check out the Bottom Line Cast, which is free. Doc, anything else before we get out of here and ride off into the sunset? I had a lot of fun today. We did Tales from the Territories on Polynesian Pro, and on a nice little short episode of Saturday Night.
No, I think I'm ready to get the fuck on out of here.
Are you going to take a nap and tuck it out?
I'm going to go get a haircut. And then just to let everybody know, I'm going to head on over to Costco and participate in some savings there.
Wow.
A real nice little day planned.
You'll get out in the rain?
I have an umbrella. And I don't have a convertible.
I'm saying that because...
What are you, a fraud?
Well, now you're getting somewhere. My wife goes to pick up kids yesterday from school, and I get a text. It's raining. I said, oh shit, that's terrible. You're gonna melt. Oh, she got hot. No, we don't have a convertible. No, that's why I asked, if you were gonna get out. It was a joke. It was trying to be funny, evidently.
Well, I'm gonna be okay.
Okay. Well, that makes two of us then, right?
Yeah, we're tougher than we look.
A little bit, slightly. All right. Well, Doc, if you've got nothing else, I think you can hit the tagline and we can ride off into the sunset on our Kawasaki mules.
Book it, bitch.